Welcome to episode 2 of Building Excellence with Molly Shanahan.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here for the second time. After I completely forgot to record our first one.
It's okay. It gives me a free pass when I do that to you.
My dog ate my file.
Yeah. Now we're even.
Thanks for the coffee, too.
Of course.
So, it's been a week. I feel like for business owners, it always is a week.
Every week is a week. Yep.
There's always something going on. What happened to you this week?
Well, I'm on my 8th photo shoot right now. 2 more this afternoon. 4 today total. 4 photo shoots, 1 podcast. For today. And then stare at my laptop for the rest of eternity. It feels like.
I know that feeling. That was me this morning. Yeah, so obviously we work together with Watermark and ZN Construction, and we've known each other for a long time. I wanted to have you on the podcast to talk about social media and how that relates to business.
Yeah, super important, obviously.
Of course.
As one of my best clients.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, social media is super important for business.
How did you get involved with it?
So,
Other than just being like every one of us in our age group who grew up with cell phones?
yeah, right. Other than just being a millennial, when I was just out of college, I was working at a restaurant and I was like, you guys got to get on Instagram. This is a new thing. You should be on it. We should make one for this, you know? And it was like when all businesses started getting on Instagram. You could do Facebook at that time, but there actually weren't business profiles back then. It was just Instagram for everybody. So,
Before they monetized everything?
yeah, before they changed everything over. So long story short, I ended up doing their internal marketing for the restaurant group for a few years. And then from there, I started working at a marketing agency who did kind of a mix of traditional marketing and digital marketing. And I really like the social media part of it, and I love content creation. So all the photography, videography, graphic design, all that kind of stuff. So I, 2 years ago, decided I think I can do this on my own. So I left and started my own business running social media, and now we're just here trying to keep up with all the trends.
It's like a typical entrepreneur story.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do this better than my boss.
Yeah, right? Or at least make more money.
Exactly.
That's the goal, right?
Well, I feel like the goal is always like, oh, yeah, you're going to be your own boss. You'll be able to have an open schedule and all this freedom and this and that. And really, you just get kind of become a slave to your business.
Yeah, it's like I'm not confined to a desk and 4 walls anymore. I'm just confined to my whole life and clients and staff, and has its own definitely benefits, but I wouldn't call it freedom.
Yeah.
In a way, but
Well, that's kind of like exactly. You wouldn't call it freedom, but the goal is freedom. Like
right.
The goal is for us to get there.
Yeah, you think that, oh, I'll just do this and I'll be free from all these constraints. But you're just changing the constraint and what it looks like, I guess.
How did you pick like social media versus photography or videography, or like you guys do a ton of anything like content creation, so that's like a wide variety of stuff. So how did you get into doing the whole 9 yards rather than just one aspect?
So I think what tied it in for us was, one, social media is really important for businesses, and I started doing a lot of food photography to start. But like, how can I keep that client continuing to work with me? And so I can either give them all the photos like, you know, I was going to initially do, or I can run their accounts for them. And obviously just being a millennial and most of the people that we work with are way older, they just don't want to get involved anyway. So that was a benefit. But it just kind of gave us and there's obviously a need too, right? Like, so I'm taking all these photos for businesses and doing headshots and food photography and all kinds of things. And they're getting them and they don't even know what to do with them because they know they need to put them out somewhere. They know they need to show themselves off, but they don't really have like either the time or the knowledge to be able to use social media. So actually a few people in the beginning said to me, they're like, can you just run my account for me? I'm like, I would love to, right? Like at the time it's like, I'm sitting around, I would love to get paid to Instagram. Right. And then now it's turned into this whole other thing where
it's just work.
Yeah. But it is, I guess, more fun than for me, like punching numbers somewhere or physical labor. I don't know. It's fun. It's creative. It's engaging. It's social, so.
Well, you were saying yesterday that like Instagram loves to change the rules on you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's funny. So we have about 20 retainer clients right now, and Instagram and Facebook are always updating. Facebook, for example, if you have an iPhone, iOS 14 just came out, and it will now ask you if you want optimized ads or not, meaning do you want Facebook to stalk you through your phone or no? So a lot of people are like, no, I don't want Facebook stalking me, but now they're going to get ads for things they don't really like or really want because Facebook won't know them as well, right?
They're going to send them ads regardless.
Yeah, they're going to get ads. So do you want things you like or not? But so I'm on the fence about it. It's like, yeah, I don't want anyone knowing all my business and I want my privacy. But at the same time, it is kind of nice to get ads for things I actually like, right? It makes my life easier. So that's one thing. And then Instagram has its own thing. So obviously when TikTok came out, Instagram wanted to compete with that. So they introduced Reels. Well, we have 20 different accounts, and some of our accounts have Reels. Some of our accounts don't have Reels. Some have 30 seconds. Some have 60 seconds. Some you can adjust music in. Some you can't. Even my own personal Instagram account, when all the new fonts rolled out, I don't know if you noticed it because you have a Droid, but it's a little different. It's a little different on the green side. But everyone, I think it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, all the new fonts rolled out on Instagram. So on your stories, you could change your fonts and do colors and animations.
Calligraphy, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. And I didn't get that until like last year.
That's crazy.
And all my other accounts had it. It's so weird.
Why do you think that is?
I think that they just test different, I think based on your behavior online, they put you in different buckets. And then based on who you are, who they think you are based on your activity, they're going to test different groups of people with using different things.
Right.
And like, do they need that? Does that raise her engagement? Does that raise her using it more? I don't know if you ever saw that. What's that documentary on social media? Don't watch it if you haven't seen it.
No, I have. The Social Experiment.
The Social Experiment.
Yeah.
How addictive it is.
It's pretty scary, to be quite honest. I watched like the first half of that, I think, and then I turned it off. It was getting late or something and didn't go back and watch the second half.
Yeah, don't finish it. No, I mean, you can see it just like being a user.
They're sitting up there just controlling everyone.
Yeah, they're like, wow, she's not using it a lot. What if we show her friend's stuff more? What if we show her friend's stuff less? What if we give her new fonts? What if we add a new feature to her account? What if we make her reels longer? Will she use them more?
Do you think that's why you didn't get the stuff? Because you're just on it all the time?
I'm on it anyway. Like, she doesn't need it. Don't even bother with her. She'll use it.
Don't give her anything fun.
Yeah. She'll use it regardless. Maybe. I don't know. I wonder. Like, I would like to be on the inside of that program and see how it all works, right? That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I'm sure the back end's like very confusing.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just always keeping up with the changes of Instagram and trying to roll with it and figure out what's happening next. There's no like warning for this kind of stuff. You just wake up one morning and they're like, everything is now purple and in a circle instead. And you're like, why? I
feel like that's why people need to use you for their social media, because like for me, like I'm pretty social media savvy. We started ZN Construction with a Facebook page. We didn't have a website or anything. Mm-hmm. And that's been the platform that we've been able to grow on since we started. But I don't have time to devote to researching all the new things that come out or ways to utilize them better,
Yeah, right. It's like it's something that I think a lot of business owners can do on their own, because it's like something that's understandable to the general. You don't need a degree for it, you don't need to you just learn by using. But when you're running your own business, it's hard to keep up with all the changes and the trends. Like the trends are so important. And if you're not on there scrolling every day, you're never going to know. So for us, it is a full-time thing. So we can't miss it if we try. You're staring at your phone all day.
Right.
Do you get screen time reports on Droids?
Yeah. You have used your phone 16 hours more than last week.
Oh, I hate that.
It's pretty brutal sometimes.
My daily average is 8 hours. I'm like, this is awful. And I do a lot of driving, so I'm like, how am I spending this much time on my phone? But I mean, Instagram works best, and it's
driving.
Yeah. Don't tell anybody.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Everyone does it. It's okay.
Yeah, but Instagram works best on your phone, obviously, instead of your computer. So
I remember when Instagram used to be like, you couldn't really use it on the computer. Like all you could do is like, you could see stuff. You couldn't interact. You couldn't do anything.
yeah,
But
you can
had
a
to do
little.
it on your phone.
You can a little now. I don't think you can upload, but you can like things and comment on
Comment
things
on
now.
stuff. That's cool. How about like your vision for your company? Like, so what's your story with that? Like, did you see yourself kind of like, because you have a team of 5 people now,
Mm-hmm.
did you see yourself like growing this fast?
No, I mean, it's only been 2 years in May since we started. And I originally thought that I would just, like I said, be a photographer, run a few accounts and make more money than I was making before. And then I quickly needed to bring on sort of like a project manager to help, stay organized. And like I said, I'm always driving and on shoots. I need someone replying to everyone, getting back and making sure that we get everything done we say we're going to get done. So I was the first person I brought on. And then we just kept getting more and more and more accounts. So I don't know. We accidentally built this whole team. No, now I like the momentum it's having. And then especially when COVID happened, I thought, oh, great, we're going to get fired by everybody, right? Marketing's first thing to go.
Right.
No one's going to keep us around. Plus everyone's like closed down or whatever. And it was the exact opposite. It was like, everyone's at home staring at their phones. Help us get in front of them. Yes.
We need them out here buying takeout.
Yeah, we need them buying takeout. We need them to see our faces more. We need to still be people. Can you come take pictures of us and put them on Instagram because they need to see we're here?
We're still alive.
Yeah. So we were out there, that first month of COVID. I remember everyone was like home, like partying, and me and the one girl I had at the time were working literally morning to night, like getting everyone's website switched over to be like mobile friendly and takeout ready and sending messages out like, yes, we're sanitizing and wearing masks. Thank you, everybody. Please maintain 6 feet apart. So it went really well. And we got through all of that and gained a ton more clients since then. So we now brought on a copywriter, a strategist, and then for me, finally someone to edit video and do graphic design, because that was a major workload for me. And it's hard to do all that when you're running a whole business.
That's the problem is like, as an entrepreneur, you kind of start a business and you're wearing all the hats.
Mm-hmm.
So you have every single hat of every aspect of your business on, and you have to hit on all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And it means you have like 0 time and you have less time to devote to each one. So the quicker that you can take those hats off and like give them to somebody else, the better, really.
I always tell everyone that, like, because we're growing right now and it's kind of hard to figure out who to hire next. So I always tell everyone we're going from a hot dog cart to a fine dining restaurant. So it was just me making the food, taking your order, cooking it, cleaning up, and dragging the cart back before. And then I finally got someone to take an order. Now I got someone to do a little bit of the cooking. And, we want to get hostesses and bussers and everything, but we're just all in this like in between of growth right now. So
Yeah, you got to do it as time allows, for sure, like at the right time.
yeah. Yeah.
Do you find, I know yesterday we were talking a lot about systems. Like, how did you, that's a term that is coined in the entrepreneurial and business owner space, like quite often, systems and processes. Oh, you need them. But I feel like most people have no idea what that is. Like, did you start your business thinking that you were going to establish those for your team right away? Or did you just kind of like fall into, this is the way we do things and here you go?
I think for me, like, I think because I'm a creative, a lot of people don't think I'm like logically based, but I see everything like in an equation all the time. And when I was trying to teach someone, the first person to come onto my team, I knew I had to kind of step by step it out, and that I wanted it, go from A to B to C to D to E, just so, because that's like my teaching method, I guess. So I didn't even know the word systems at the time, but I think it was important for me in the beginning to use systems, to set an expectation of like, when you get an email, here's what you do with the email. You put it into our project management software, then you file your email. And
A how-to.
yeah, exactly. Do everything like that. So I guess we kind of like naturally fell into that pattern. And then obviously once you start your own business and doing everything, you read about it and you're like, systems are so important. So then I'm like, yay, we're doing that part right. And then let's do way more of those. So
Right.
now we have like systems for everything. And I know we were talking about yesterday, eventually they break.
Right.
And you have
As
to
you grow.
change. Yeah. So
It's like one of those things that everyone has and no one really realizes. It's just the way you do things. So like when you first start and you're wearing all those hats, like you're doing everything and you're trying your best to hit on all those things and complete them. But when you start hiring people, you're trying to train them to do certain aspects of that. And you want to make sure that the quality is the same, or like the standards are there for what you want.
Right.
So that's why I feel like it's important to write that stuff down. But I also feel like sometimes people like go overboard and they like write every little thing down. Yeah. It's like, well, you don't really need to do that. Like everyone does have a brain, and you're trying to find people that mesh well with you and your team and can do the things that you're trying to do. But yeah, definitely like as you grow, they definitely break. Like I've found that too. Like you start a way of doing things, and then you used to run for us like 1 to 2, maybe 3 jobs at a time, and then you run 6 jobs at a time, and it's a completely different method.
Right.
Somewhat the same, but like the way that you get there is completely different because you need more management, more eyes on, to like make sure things are happening correctly.
Yeah. And I think too, like the different people that, in your business that you're managing are different. Like I hate being micromanaged, so I try so hard not to micromanage. So I'm like, oh, just do this. But some people can do that. And then other people, like, mine step 1 might be very vague. But then other people I've learned now need very detailed,
specific instruction.
Do this, and like I don't want to be that way because I personally hate being micromanaged. I'm like, just tell me like generally what you want me to do, and I'll
figure it out. I'll get it done for you.
Yeah, where I'm now learning that other people like do want that specific detail because that's what they need to make sure that they're getting the job done, and it's just like a different way of thinking. So
I feel like me personally, like that's like a personality type difference rather than like a micromanaging versus not micromanaging type difference, because I'm the same way. Like I hate to be micromanaged, and I'm definitely like a go-getter. Like you give me a direction, just point me in it, and I'll make it happen for you, and it'll be fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've tried to do the same thing in my business too, is like not micromanaging the guys, give them the space to do what they need and be there for them. Like if I'm here for you, whatever you need, if you need something, let me know. Here's how I would do it. Here's the materials that you need, the tools that you need.
But if you have a better way, do it.
If you have a better way, go for it. Just make sure that the quality is still there, right? Like make sure the standards are kept, but if you want to do it a different way, perfectly fine. But I feel like some people are just better at thinking outside that box than other people, and those people might not need as much of like a detailed description or specific instruction. Versus other people are like, oh yeah, here's the basic gist of it. I'll go smash it for you.
Yeah. I think some people do want that. Like, tell me exactly what to do and I will do it for you.
Right.
Where if someone told me exactly what to do, I'd be like, no.
Too much information.
Yeah. Walk away.
What's the goal here?
Yeah. Where are you trying to get? Because I'll just get there.
Right. And it'll probably be faster.
Yeah. But the other people don't, they need different types of direction. So like it's like an interesting part of like building your systems, is like, every person learns in a different way and wants to be directed in a different way. So
do you feel like that's like a hard part of your job, is like managing different people and different personalities?
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
I always say that's like the hardest part of my job, is like you put all these people together. They're all different. They all have, some might be more similar, but like most of them all have different ways of doing things, different thought processes, different opinions about it. And you have one goal or multiple goals, but like one main objective, and you got to have all these different people kind of mesh to make that happen.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think me and you, we both come from big families, so maybe we're more like naturally inclined to like oversee a bunch of different personality types trying to figure things out. Because I'm always like, well, that's interesting. So if I say it this way, she's going to be upset, she's going to like it, and she's going to get excited. So how can I like present this in a way that everyone's going to enjoy,
Yeah. But where's like the most even approach to this?
Yeah, yeah.
Across the board.
Because you want people to be happy too. You don't want to just force feed your style or your mentality down everyone's throat. But it's definitely an interesting part of it. Like that's the part you don't think of. You're like, oh, well, you'll just get all these jobs, right? And then you need X, Y, and Z to do these jobs, and then you'll just do it all. But you forget there's like personality.
You forget until there's problems.
Yeah, you forget there's feelings.
There's definitely feelings and emotion involved.
Yeah. It's like it's the part you can't plan for. There's no system for that. I mean, I guess there could be in a way, but
I feel like it's really tricky. I mean, we've tried to, so we have 16 people on payroll total now. So it's
Wow.
like pretty spread out.
Yeah.
Some are part-time, just a couple like office part-time, but then the rest in the field. And it's definitely like the hardest thing is like managing and making sure that everyone's happy and like checking in. And we've definitely tried to like build, since I started this, like it's always been about culture and like building a place where you want to go to work, because the work that we do is hard. You know what I mean? Like it's hard and it's also artistic. So there's like a big mix. You have to have like a good skill set. You have to be able to like work efficiently and fast and also like make a good product that comes out, you know? Everything we do with our hands, like we're doing it on site, like putting pieces of wood together, you know?
Yeah.
But along with that comes like when you start to grow and expand, like you have so many different avenues for people to be unhappy and things you might not have even like thought about, you know what I mean? Or like interactions from one person to the next person. And it comes back on you, like typically as the manager, you know, or the boss. But, I always try to like put myself as like I'm like a leader, like not like a boss. I'm part of the team, and also have tried to like insulate myself as much as possible too. So like say for instance, Suzanne, my mom, answers our phone, so I don't have to answer like each client's call. Or Ryan is now our production manager, so he manages like the guys in the field. So theoretically, hopefully some of those calls come in to him rather than to me, you know, but I don't know. I still feel like the personalities and the people aspect of the business is one of the trickiest parts.
Yeah, definitely. And like then you're dealing with not only your whole team's personalities and all of that, but then you have client personalities. It's not just like cut and dry of hire me, you know?
To be quite honest with you, I think I would rather deal with client personalities than team personalities.
Because you're done with the client after a while. Right?
Exactly. Like you do a job for somebody, and then at the end, like you make sure they're happy, and then it's on, like they get to enjoy their product, and you find another client that you have to work for.
Well, so your problem is you care, right? You care about your team.
Definitely.
You want everyone to
100%.
be happy. And that's what makes it more challenging, because you're not just like, I don't know, figure it out, guys. Go build the wall, you know, like, I don't know, like I'm not dealing with this, which you could easily be, right? I mean, there's plenty of businesses that run that way. Like, I'm not getting involved with how you feel about this. Just get the job done.
Right.
But you, like me, like want to make it a great place to work, right? Like everyone hates working, like, oh, work, you know, but if you can create an environment where we're all just like, yeah, let's do this. Then
it's like, it doesn't even feel like work.
Yeah. It's like you're playing a sport or something.
Exactly. It's kind of fun. Like you have new little challenges, and it might be hard some days. Some days suck. Some days aren't as bad. Some days are great.
Yeah.
But overall, it's like, doesn't feel like a drag.
Yeah. It's like getting the right people on your team that are a part of that vision.
That's huge.
Yeah.
There's definitely like, for us, I mean, we're very, my old mentor kind of coined this phrase, and I've taken it and used it for a while, but it's like, we're a family-based organization that operates like a professional sports team. So like,
oh, I love that.
Everyone, it is a family, but everyone's got to pull their weight. Like everyone has to do their job to the best of their ability. And I don't know if you've ever read like our handbook or anything, but like in there, a lot of times is like every day is a test for everyone in the company, because we want to hold everyone accountable. And overall, like the goal of that is to make everyone better, right? Like to change their lives in a positive way, and not just at work, but at home, like personality, like mentally, family, physically, financially, like spiritually, all these different aspects that like people can grow and get better at. Like that's what I want, because my mission in life is to make my section of the world a better place than when I found it, and to impact everyone's life in a positive way, and really to grow the people that are near me and better them. So whatever I can do to better their life outside of work, it's going to come right back around into work. You know, it's all connected.
Totally. Well, yeah. And that's why it's so important too, to like have a good culture, because, you know, the 40 plus hours that you spend at your job, if you feel uplifted, if you feel accomplished and good about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and, you know, it gives you some confidence that carries over into your personal life too. You know,
sure.
Like, I'm killing it at work. I'm doing a great job.
Puts you in such a good place.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm making good money. I'm happy there. I come home happy. I go to work happy, you know?
love the people I work with for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the hard equation, right? Like
Right.
figuring all that out. But that's the challenge we're up against.
That is the challenge. Where do you see yourself taking this? So it's been 2 years.
Yes.
You have 5 people on your team.
Mm-hmm.
You have 20 plus clients.
I want 100 clients.
100.
But slowly.
Yeah. Like where do you see this going? I mean, before you answer, I mean, we all know social media is kind of like the future. Like,
yeah.
Depending on what the app is that's coming out next, but like that's a change. But overall, like people are not going to leave their phones. They're not going to leave the connectivity that they feel.
Right. Even though they threaten to every day, they won't.
Yeah.
I'm done with this. I'm deleting my profile.
They'll do it for a little while. Then they'll be back.
They'll be back. I knew you'd be back.
Right.
I wish it said that
Gotcha.
when you re-downloaded the app. I knew you'd be back.
Didn't know when, but it was coming.
I don't know. I want to be the go-to company for small businesses that are like, okay, when we call Molly, we know that we're going to get awesome content. Let me back up. We always say that we're a creative studio for people with a story to tell. And like, I want to make sure that whoever we're working with feels like we're able to translate their story online before you meet them. So
Right.
like, if someone lands on your Instagram page, right, I want them to understand like you do awesome work, you have great culture, you're a family business, you're local to Connecticut, and just everything, everything about your company, right? Like you're cool, you're young, you're involved, right? Everything.
Yeah.
So I think what's important for me is that we tell as many people's stories as we can. So I want to do that times 100, times a million, but I want to do that so well, and I want to just like slap it together, because I know a lot of traditional marketing agencies are they're still doing a lot of that, like billboards or radio and those sort of things, which is all great. It's really good to have a well-rounded marketing approach. But when it comes to social media specifically, a lot of people are just doing maintenance on it. And I want to make sure that like the people that we work with have that tool utilized to like tell their story and reach as many people as possible.
And energize people.
Yeah. And be like, oh, it's awesome. Like, I mean, your account specifically, I have people all the time, because I share a lot of your stuff to my story. They're like, I'm addicted to this account. Because like the transformation is just what's going to happen, and it's like, whether they want to, eventually work with you or not, they're enjoying.
Just cool content.
Yeah. They're enjoying you anyway.
Right.
Like they might follow you. Like maybe they don't even own a house, but maybe they will. Maybe they never will, but they're enjoying you regardless. Right. And like, that way, if you come up in conversations, like, I do know a really cool company, It's just like giving people personality,
Isn't that the goal of marketing, though? Just to like energize your brand.
Yeah.
I mean, so we just had that billboard. I want to come back to this in 1 second, but we just had that billboard in Canton that we put up, and it doesn't really matter if no one calls us from that billboard. The billboard is not for people to directly call us and say they want to get their roof replaced. It's for brand awareness.
Yeah.
Like more people see ZN Construction because of that billboard. More people are thinking, oh, I just saw that company on Facebook, or I just saw that reel that they just put up, or that TikTok or whatever, and they're really cool. Like I want to follow them, because
it's a great
down the
follow-up.
line, everyone has a house, whether they rent, whether they own, or they know somebody who does, and they're all going to need home improvement at some point or another. So the better that we can share like our story and our brand, like the more it's in people's minds. And I feel like that's the goal of marketing overall. Why does McDonald's need to run Super Bowl TV commercials? Like that's not cheap, but they still do it.
You got to remind everybody who you are,
right?
What you stand for, and what your personality is.
Fast cheeseburgers. Well, that's really cool though. I mean, 100 clients is a lot for like reoccurring, like month to month, I feel. What do you like? Has that always been the goal, or?
No, I wanted 5 and work on my own.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I get 5 clients, I can just make more money and be home all day. But just because of who I am as a person, I couldn't do that. Once I reach one, once I take the first step, then I can't stop going up the stairs.
That's the problem, I feel, though, because I feel like this is like a never-ending puzzle. You just keep unlocking pieces,
Well, it's
seeing
funny.
where they fit.
that's like the Macklemore song. I don't know if you listen to Macklemore at all, but he's like, a good, true artist will never be satisfied. And I think it's the same for an entrepreneur. Like, you're always like, what? Oh, that was so great. But what's more? You know, it's like that next like dose, like, oh, I want a little bit more of that, you know? Like, you're not ever going to be like, this is good enough.
Right.
And if you are the kind of person that can reach satisfaction, this is not, you're not going to be an entrepreneur.
This is not the path for you.
Then you're just going to get a job and work and be satisfied. Mm-hmm. So that's the
best thing about, I just had this thought, like, that's the best thing about being in this country and having the freedom to do that. Like, totally. We can do whatever we want to do. It doesn't mean that it's easy. You know, like the movie with Will Smith, The Pursuit of Happiness. Like, you're not guaranteed happiness, but you can pursue it.
Right. Yeah, we're very blessed to be in a country where we can do all that. Very privileged to do.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. It's touching, really.
Right. It's yeah. What and if you could wave like a magic wand over your industry, like what problem would you fix?
That's a great question. I guess this is not really like an industry problem, but like one of the things that I wish that like our culture in general in like our generation and everyone was better at would be like the urgency culture. So like for me, I feel like everyone wants everything instantly and they want it done the fastest and they want you to get back to them. And like, just like as a person, not even as like a business owner, for me, it's like, I'm getting text messages, phone calls, emails, DM'd on Instagram, messaged on Facebook Messenger. Hey, Mal, can you, hey, can you mind? And it's like, I wish there was like a little more of like, this is a person too, you know, who's living a life. And like, I feel like, you know, because of social media, which we all like to enjoy, there's like this urgency culture. So like, I wish there was a way just for every business, for every person, right, to just like wave a magic wand and be like, here's a good communication route and things aren't so urgent, you know? It's a lot of times with my team, it's like can be stressful.
I have a
system.
Probably 75% solution to that problem that I figured out.
I'll
talk to you about it after.
Okay.
But you're talking about your team.
Yeah, like it, you know, it's stressful in social media, right? Like we follow these like funny accounts that like, it's like we're running emergency rooms, you know, because it's every single day. It's in everyone's life. It's 24/7. It's like very like,
it's what people do. Scroll.
Yeah. And it's urgent, right? Like there's a typo. Someone forgets like an R in a word and it's like our client's going to murder us, you know?
Our guys are all over that. I just put up a story the other day and I misspelled gorgeous because it was like, I didn't quite put the R in there.
You missed an R. See, I didn't even know that.
And Eric's like, who put this up? It's like, oh, me. I'll take it down.
Yeah. Because it's so urgent, you know, and it's like, I wish that I didn't have to be, but I have to remember my team all the time because they're like, oh, this client emailed, they're upset about this. I'm like, you know what? I get it. Everyone can be upset.
Take some time.
The good news is we're not running a hospital here. And no one's going to die if their post doesn't go out today. So like, I understand they're urgent. They're excited about it. Like we want everyone to be excited about our work and what we're doing. But if it doesn't happen, no one's going to die. So it's like reminding everyone that, you know, like it's just your Instagram.
Do you feel like that?
Not to downplay my own industry, but
no.
You know,
like that's huge. But do you feel like that is something that has kind of come into effect over the last 10 or so years?
Totally.
Because I feel it, because like, so I was born in 1990. So growing up in the 90s, like into 2000s, like there were no real cell phones. Like there were car phones, you know what I mean? And like, I remember like memorizing my house phone number and then dial up when it came out and all that. And it was definitely not very urgent back then. It didn't feel like. Well,
if you missed your call, they just missed like, I'm not home. Oh, can't reach them.
If you don't have an answering machine, you have no idea who it was.
Yeah. Or caller ID.
Yeah.
Right.
But they didn't have caller ID back then. It's like, if you didn't have an answering machine set up, it's just going to ring and ring and ring and ring and ring. And no one's ever going to pick up.
They'll try you tomorrow, maybe.
Right. And they're not going to know who is calling or when, unless like they answered
Yeah.
unless they were there.
And now it's like there's so like we're so available. Like
Everyone's available 24/7.
you have to be, because like if you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're in your email, you're on your cell phone, you're getting text messages. Never mind if you have an office phone, forget that.
Right.
That's just like another input
Avenue.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like the Amazon thing. Like Bezos is so smart, like he's like, oh, the internet, we should sell books on there. And then he's like, oh, people are buying books and getting them shipped to their house. We should sell everything on here.
Yeah.
And then, people are complaining that it takes so long to get the items that they need. How do we solve the shipping problem? Sets up his own delivery carrier so he doesn't have to use like the postal service anymore. And now it's like you order something and it's there the next day.
Or the same day.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But that's like where our culture has gone. Like we're just so used to the instant. Like even, we were talking about video trends yesterday. If you don't capture someone in 3 seconds, they're not going to watch the video. You have 3 seconds of someone.
Like the first 3 seconds, you're saying?
The first 3 seconds. If you're not like, watch this, please, then.
If it's not like going to drag you in.
Then they don't want to watch it. Like people have such short attention spans, and it has to be so instant and so satisfying so quickly that like, for me, it's like, hi, I texted you 5 hours ago. And, it's like, how do you keep up with it all and not disappoint people?
I don't think it really matters, to be quite honest.
Still being a human.
I feel like, so like, that's definitely a huge thing in the real estate industry. Like they get a lead. If they don't answer the phone that minute, they're going to call the next realtor and the next one until they get somebody. And once they get someone, that they're pretty much going to close with that person, unless that person sucks, obviously. Yeah. For us with construction, like we were at a point in May where we had like 60 so we try to funnel our leads into an email inbox. So we were at a point where like between me, Steve, and Joe, we had 60 unread emails in the inbox of all these people who wanted quotes for their project. And the beauty of our system with online estimating is like we can get back to people immediately. We don't have to go out to their house. We can ask for pictures, smartphone, ching, 10 seconds later, we have the pictures. We can just write them a quote if we're not doing anything. But we were so busy because like that's like on a weekly thing. Like each week we're getting like 20 new emails. So like we try to catch up with the ones that we're already booking jobs. Like people are like left and right, come do my job, come do my job, come do my job. We have no time to like get back to the new people.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the construction industry, it doesn't really matter as much because maybe it's because it's a big purchase. They have to think about it, or limited number of contractors that you can call, although there's a ton. Depends on like when availability is, like when we can do their job. So many different factors. So like it's not really as much of a thing as a immediate type need for people.
Yeah.
Although like that's something that, while I don't worry about it, like we're trying to fix too, because if we can be the contractor that is immediate, like that's a draw. Like, oh, we're ready to do this project. It costs X amount of dollars. Yeah. Okay, where do I sign? Type deal.
Right. I think for me, it's like personally just like separating myself a little bit from my business too, where like everyone's like, oh, call Molly, where like I need to like build in those
barriers.
Yeah.
Like, you got to build a defense around you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you're saying, I just have to,
But that's the problem. You're never going to have enough. And I did it too. Like I'm not the best. Like I don't know everything. I don't claim to be an expert yet in anything. It takes a long time. Like I don't know that I'll ever master everything that I try to do. Mm-hmm. But I have like spent a lot of time, like the first 3 to 4 years, there were probably a majority of weeks that I would work like 70 to 90 hours a week. Because you're working all day doing what you need to do, and then you're working all night, then you get up early in the morning to like get back to people and this and that. And
like you said, I text you at 3 a.m.
Exactly.
Like, sorry, I didn't get back to you. I couldn't sleep, so here I am.
It's the only time you can't sleep because your brain won't shut off, and it's the only time you have to like get caught up with stuff. But I mean, that's something too that like has been a major focus of mine, is like working on the business versus in it as much, and like building those systems, building that network of people around me to kind of insulate me from some of those things. Because as the entrepreneur, like if we're not, and your people should know this too, like if they don't, hopefully they listen to this and hear it, but if they're not focused on insulating you, then their future is diminished because your business is only going to grow as much as you're able to work on it and grow it. And if you're constantly doing that,
like work on your business instead of in your business, like I like that.
It's a separation because like you can go out and do all these photo shoots, like we were talking before. You can go out and do all these photo shoots and like you're making direct money because you're producing for your company, but at the same time, like you don't have any time to like think about it and like process like what's the next avenue, like what can we solve to make us more efficient so that we can conquer the next whale that comes or like hire the next person that comes.
Right.
There's like I forget what exactly the saying is. I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like if all the time that you spend working is like 100% of the time, there's only like 20% of that that's actually important work. Yeah. The other 80% is just nonsense that you're just doing. So like try to figure out what that 80% is and cut it out as much as you can to focus on the 20.
Yeah. That's a good takeaway for me from this. This is a good learning session
Providing
for me.
value.
Yeah.
We're building excellence over here.
Yeah. No, it's like, it's good to hear that because you feel like sometimes if you're not doing everything, then you're like not doing enough, but it's like, that's what you need, the thinking time to like reroute and like reanalyze and restructure and rebuild.
Process.
Yeah. And it's like, you can't when you're, in the middle of it all the time.
This podcasting thing, like we talked about it yesterday. We went into it a little bit yesterday. And then of course I didn't have the SD card in, but so I've been thinking about like this whole like starting a podcast for a couple years now, like since our old office and even before that, like in notes. Like I was reviewing some old notes on my phone the other day, and it was like I found it in like my one main note where I like keep all my day-to-day thoughts, and it's always like getting written and then erased and written and then erased as I check off the to-do list. But I scroll back down and I find in there like the word podcast like 5 different times, and one of them is like podcast. Get effing on it,
like stop writing this over and over and just do it.
But there's so many things that drag you in so many different directions. And then Steve last week was like, dude, I have a brilliant idea. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, we need to do a podcast. And I was like, funny you should mention that. Like I need to just get on and like figure out what exactly I need to order to get the right equipment and make this thing happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But long story short, like this podcast thing is like kind of soothing for me because it's something new and different that's also building value, not directly, but for
like
everyone.
It's like business therapy for me.
Exactly. Like you sit here, you talk about it, have conversations, like drop a lot of value. And I don't know, like it, with all the muck that we're wading through every day.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to have those kind of moments to like recover and relax and get that therapy.
Well, it's like even as you're asking me these questions where you're like, well, if you could change something with a magic wand, or what are your struggles, or why did you do this? Like those are like questions I would never think about. Like I wouldn't take the time to be like, what do I want to change about this? Or why am I doing this? Like just like even taking the time to think about it, I just feel like is like therapeutic in a way, but also like inspiring yourself, like that's why you did this, remember this is why you did this. I'm never going to ask myself that.
You should write it down.
Yeah. I'll just listen to this over and over. Why did you
just
do
write
this?
the notes.
Yeah.
I feel like I totally relate, to be quite honest. Like there's always so many things that are going around in your brain that you don't really have time to sit down and process all of it. And especially like the important questions like that. But I feel like we actually are thinking about it, just not actively.
Yeah, like we're not like putting words to it.
Like in our subconscious, we're building all the things that go into what we need to do or like where our vision is to go. It's just not actively happening because you're not like sitting down to take the time to like think about it. Yeah. But it's in there.
Yeah. It's just nice to like think about it alone.
Yeah.
For a minute.
Have a little peace.
Yeah. It's like very peaceful. And plus I like how these sound.
It does sound pretty nice. Especially when you get really close.
I know, right? I want to tell a scary story.
Oh boy. I don't know any scary stories.
This place is haunted, so I don't want to talk about it.
I have heard that before.
Don't say that.
Not specifically this room. We have a lot of energy in this room.
Yeah, it's light and bright.
Are you still mad that I came in here and sniped this from you?
I did love this room, but I think I need a bigger space in retrospect. So that's my next move. Our next move is getting a really cool, like, I don't want to call it an office, but like studio area that like we can use as an office, but then I can also rent out to photographers as photography space.
Like multi-use.
Yeah, like a almost like a warehouse that I could like remodel to be a remodel that you can remodel to be to be like a cool like space, you know, that has like nice sitting corners, but like my staff could sit there and on their laptop if they want to, but you could also shoot headshots there. You know? Right. That's the next big goal.
I would say make sure that some of the space is at least like dedicated to you guys.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like this room is so small. I mean, it's a fairly large space, but it's pretty small in retrospect. And like we use this thing for so many different things. Like right now it's a podcast studio and an office. Yeah. And if Joe and Steve were here, they'd be working on the computer.
Yeah.
Sam's editing video, you know, like so many different things. And a bigger space would definitely be nice. It just wasn't quite like our time for it yet.
Yeah, you know, that's my thing right now. Like we don't need it. We all work from home, but if I fall in love with the right space, I'll get it, you know? It's just like on the goals list, but not really on a time frame.
Yeah. For sure. Business growth.
Yeah. Well, I have to go to my next shoot soon, unfortunately.
What time is it?
3.
3 o'clock.
Yep.
Sounds good. Well, just like yesterday, this has been fun. At least this one's been recorded.
Has it though?
It better have.
That's okay. I'll be back. I like doing this.
Sounds good. We'll have to have you. We'll have you as a regular guest.
Yes, I would love that.
Business therapy with Molly.
Yeah.
Every week.
Yes, I need that. We need roundtable discussion. You know.
Yeah. Soon we'll have like that nice like airy space, new stuff. It'll look pretty. You know.
We could do like a morning show.
Sounds good.
A little radio morning show.
Right.
For entrepreneurs. That'd be
Business
so fun.
101 with Zach and Molly.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Molly and Zach.
We're on in the morning, 5 a.m.
3 a.m. some days.
Yeah.
There was one day, like probably a month or two ago now, I went to bed at like 7 o'clock and woke up at 2:15. Couldn't go back to sleep. And this other podcast guy that I listen to and also see on Instagram, he's like, whenever my eyes open for the day, I get up and I just start my day then. So I was like, then it's like 2:30 in the morning. It's like, it's 2:30 in the morning. I have all these things I want to do. Just get up and get after it. 2:30, got up, did a workout, did a run, came back, showered, read for a while. It's like so peaceful that early in the morning that it's like
I don't
therapy.
know if that's not morning. That's night still for me. I do draw the line. I draw the line.
Well, I'm sure people were still up from the night before when I was waking up for my day.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It was a super productive day.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good role. When your eyes open, go.
Yeah. I can't do that all the time, but
yeah,
sometimes. Well, until next time, Molly, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.